What up, Hyperchangers? You already know what time it is. Inside EVs has just released their monthly plug-in sales scorecard, estimating the number of electric vehicles sold in the country by make and model. This is awesome data. I'm going to break down how Tesla and specifically the Model 3 are doing. And then at the end of the episode, we're actually going to compare Model 3 sales to traditional gasoline sales in the passenger vehicle segment and see what's going on there as well. So a ton of data and charts to get through. Let's get right into it. So Inside EVs has come out, and you guessed it, for the 11th month in a row, every single month this year. I sound like a broken record, but I said I was going to do it. Model 3 is the best selling electric vehicle in the country by like a mile, not even close. Look at the Model 3 sales by month. This was the second highest month ever according to Inside EVs, with sales of 18,650 units, up slightly from October. And remember, these are just US deliveries, so not accounting for anything international. So really strong numbers from Tesla once again. If we take a look at through the first 11 months of the year, the top 6 or 7 best selling purely electric vehicles. These are battery electric vehicles only, not plug-in hybrids, because I think this is a much better comparison of just purely electric vehicles. And as you can see, Tesla top 3 selling battery electric vehicles in the US by so much. Like the Model 3 alone has outsold every non-Tesla battery electric vehicle by a factor of 3 to 4x this year. And that's with them, ramping production and you reading in the news about how Tesla's struggling to actually build its cars. Every other automaker is struggling to bring a compelling electric vehicle to market, not Tesla. And if we take a look at the Model 3 against the Chevy Bolt, which is the number 2 best-selling electric vehicle that's not a Tesla in the US, I mean, it's just not even close. Although I will give the Bolt a shout out because they did hit sales of over 3,000 this month, which was a nice increase from what they've been doing usually, but that's still, just about 1/5 or 1/6 of the sales that the Model 3 is putting up. Now, if we take a look at Model 3 sales by quarter, this is what has happened through Q3. As you can see, ramping pretty quickly. And then in Q4, I'm actually expecting sales about 62,000 units, the growth to slow. And so that's just because they've sort of, they hit this point of 5,000 Model 3s per week. They were like scrambling to get production up to that level. Now they're sort of maintaining 5,000 or 6,000 Model 3s produced per week, but really optimizing cost efficiencies and profits on the car and smoothing out that process. And it's less about ramping sales of the vehicles. But I do think we're going to see continued record deliveries of the Model 3 in Q4 and in Q1 of 2019 when they push more international deliveries. Anyway, this is what I'm estimating for Model 3 sales by year, and I've actually taken down my 2018 estimate a little from 150,000 to 145,000, but this just goes to show you Tesla scaling production almost 100x, or deliveries almost 100x of the Model 3 this year to almost 145,000 units, and Tesla in all of 2017 only delivered 103,000 cars total, and now they're going to deliver 145 just Model 3 in 2018. Now, let's take a look at the data from the broader electric plug-in market to see how it's growing, because it's not all about Tesla. The real goal and mission here is to electrify the transport system, and so here is how plug-in sales are doing overall. As you can see, they've been growing pretty nicely into 2017, but then in 2018 we've had this massive growth in the plug-in market, 312,000 units sold just through November. If we take a look at the first 11 months of each year compared to each other, you can see that growth has been accelerating dramatically, 30% in 2017, and then up to 80% growth in 2018. This is almost single-handedly driven by the Model 3. And I keep having to up this estimate of 2018 projected plug-in sales, which I've now up from, I believe it was 337,000 last time I made this episode a month ago. Now it's 350,000, which represents 75% year-over-year growth in plug-in sales. Electric cars are exploding as a trend, the fastest growing part of the automotive sector. And if we take a look at the breakdown between Tesla and non-Tesla, you can see that up until 2017, Tesla had a nice, good chunk, about, 25% of total plug-in sales. But then if we go to 2018 with the Model 3, Tesla single-handedly goes from, about a quarter of the electric vehicle market to well over half of it here in the US. So tremendous growth. This is why I say the Model 3 and Tesla is single-handedly driving the adoption of electric vehicles. You can see that in this chart. Now, moving on to global plug-in sales, because, this is a global issue we're facing. I haven't really changed my estimates here, but great to just put in context how plug-in sales are set to hit a record of almost 2 million cars sold in 2018. I believe there's about 90 million cars sold in the world each year. So this is almost, a little over 2% market share for electric cars is a number that I'm watching super closely and hopefully continues to scale rapidly. Tesla is right around there with around sales of 250,000 units per my estimate in 2018, which is about 13% of the total electric vehicle market. Now, wanted to give a quick, huge shout out to Mo Saleh, who compiles these awesome charts and data. I'm going to put a link to his website in the description. But anyway, he compiles this data on Tesla's sales relative to other US passenger cars. So as you can see, this is for the month of November 2018. Tesla's Model 3 with sales of 18,650 units here in the US was the 5th best-selling passenger car in the country, competing with the things like the Camry, Accord, Civic, Corolla, Elantra, Ford Fusion. I mean, these are the cars that you think of that are the most popular cars in the world that sell the most. They're only priced at about half of what the Model 3 is, and yet the Model 3 is right up there in the ballpark with the best-selling passenger cars in the country. I mean, this is incredible stuff for any sort of premium mid-size sedan, which the Model 3 really is. To put up these kind of sale numbers is incredible, let alone the fact that it's electric. There's no electric car that gets close to anywhere on this list. And so this is the numbers of true disruption in the market. The Model 3 is almost as popular as the Accord and the Camry. And what's even more impressive is if we convert this to revenue, the Model 3 is the best-selling passenger car by a mile in terms of revenue, because remember, the Model 3's average selling price is around 55 grand right now. These other ones are probably in between 25 to 30 grand. That's probably a generous overestimate. So the Model 3, in terms of revenue, is crushing every single passenger car in the country right now. Let's take a look at small and mid-size luxury sedans. So this is basically the more niche market where Tesla competes, where the Model 3 competes with things like the BMW 3 Series, the Mercedes C-Class and E-Class and things like that. And as you can see, since it started production here in late 2017, early 2018, the Model 3 has rapidly grown to be the best-selling car in the segment. It's the red bar right there. Mercedes for the month of November was number 2 with sales of almost 13,000. Tesla, though, with almost 19,000. BMW with 11,000. So Tesla here is actually just crushing all of the luxury car competition, and it's not just about them outselling electric cars. It's really become a story about them selling every single car they compete with. And this is the super inspiring data that is made a ton of sense, and has always been the theory of Tesla is, they're going to inflect the industry to electric, they're going to outsell gasoline cars, which sounds great, but in practice that's really, really difficult to get consumers to fundamentally switch from a technology that we've been using for decades to this entirely new transportation system of electric cars. That's a huge change. And so to see it happen this quickly, and to see Tesla become the best-selling passenger car by revenue and become the best-selling small and mid-sized luxury sedan, I mean, these are the numbers that are proving the disruption that Tesla has. So that's the recap of November 2018 electric vehicle and total passenger vehicle sales. The Model 3 continues to dominate. Will probably be the best-selling electric car in the country for December as well. I'm going to make an episode then updating all of this data and market share, so stay tuned for that. Please let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below. Questions, concerns, future projections, let me know. Also, a huge shout out to our Patreon producers and supporters over there on Patreon. Definitely check out our page. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.